Okay, this is part two, my second round of making part two. So I left off saying that my husband was not like the person I'd worked really hard to get skinny, and he just, not that he's ugly or anything, just wasn't my type. Um, so it's talking about, we think differently when we're thin than we are when we're heavy. And I don't know why. We're still the same people, but I don't know if some people think they just deserve. We're not all the same. We don't all think the same. Um, I don't know though if my husband was out of shape and overweight or something like that, and he didn't do anything to better himself. I'm not so sure that I could, go through the surgery, change my life, and still remain the same way I feel if he, I don't know, let's just say he had a beer in his hand and a beer gut and watched TV and belched all the time and let gas out or whatever. Hello. I'm not sure that a marriage like that would be the perfect thing for a person who went through gastric bypass and is working on their health and is loving themselves when the husband stays behind. And so in my case, that's why my husband chose to change something about himself that would make him feel better, so that we both had something we were working on and to progress and be a couple and do it as one, like God meant for us to do. My husband has since joined me back in the bedroom. Um, I was making him sleep on the couch because I felt I was too fat to sleep in the same bed with him. So things actually have gotten better in our relationship, but I'm not so sure if we didn't talk ourselves through it all, and we did not have him change something that he wanted to change about himself, and to make things better for his life while I'm making things better for mine, so we can be together as a couple and enjoy each other's newness. Um, so I don't see my relationship going anywhere but getting better. But that's because we chose to. We went to a seminar. I really recommend that if you are married and you think things are not going to change between you and your husband, you are totally in a fantasy world. Things are going to change. That doesn't mean they're not going to get better or they're going to get worse, or because you change upstairs, you change mentally, your body changes, and so I mean, I'm not saying your marriage is going to end or your marriage is not going to end. It's just you are going to change. And so the way you do things, the way you think are going to be different. And I'm sure that a lot of people who've been married a while, Rosemary, people like that, would agree with me that it doesn't matter how much you love that person, you're still changing. And so having a supportive husband really, really, really helps. But going to a seminar that talks about the changes that you're going to be addressing and who you're going to be and how you're going to feel it, and different things I mean, the statistics are correct. You are going to change mentally and physically, and there's nothing you can do about that if you have RNY gastric bypass or even lap band. Just it's a little slower with the lap band. So you need to condition because your mind isn't catching up with your body, or your body's not catching up with your mind. And some depression sets in, lots of different things. You get really happy about your new looks, you get really depressed about your new looks, you go through many different emotions. If your husband can understand what you're going through, or your partner can understand what you're going through, it's a lot easier road and a lot easier transaction. And it's so much easier on your marriage. Um, so I think that people can continue to be married and continue to be happily married. And I also believe that two people can fall apart and two people can go the opposite way as well. God first in your marriage, if you believe that way. I know not everybody does, but your other higher power, whichever you believe, comes first. And then realizing that you both have to understand what's happening to your body and your mind, that really is a major second step to making sure that your marriage does stay intact. For those, there's lots of people like the gal that I watched her video where she said that there was just things that couldn't be changed about her marriage or about her relationship with her boyfriend, and that she should have addressed when she was heavier but didn't. Those are things I completely understand. You go through kind of like skating through when you're heavy because you don't want to, you kind of don't want to rock the boat. You don't want to be alone, but you don't want, there's not lots of things that can be changed. And um, I didn't even read the note, babe. sorry. So, anyhow, my husband's kind of like, you can hear him throwing things around in the background. He gets in those moods because I didn't listen to what he said before he left. But anyhow, so what I was talking about was the gal who after 5.5 years ended her relationship, and my heart kind of broke for the guy, but I don't know the relationship, but I understand what she's going through too, because there's lots of things you just don't address when you're heavy. Because you're just in a different state of mind, that when you find different things out about yourself and you start loving yourself, things around you have to be, things around you change, and you just have to go through that. It's just something we go through. So I'm going to kind of leave it at that, because I kind of feel like I'm talking in circles, but that's how my relationship is. That's how my relationship was beforehand. So now you know where I'm sitting as far as my marriage goes. And if you have any questions, feel free to ask. I'd rather you ask than make, snappy comments, because maybe you misunderstood what I'm saying. But I highly recommend that you get some kind of counseling, or talk to each other, or sit down and have family time, and try to think of all the different things that are going to happen with this weight loss, and what's going to happen, to your life, whether you're in just a relationship. And it has to do with your kids, it has to do with your parents, it has to do with your friendships. Everything changes. My friends are not the same as they were. It's sad, but it is true. Not by my choice. I do want to put that out there too. Some people are jealous that you had the surgery, or they'll say you had the surgery, or they'll make snide comments, and your relationships just end. There's nothing you can do about that. You have to leave that in God's hands and pray for them, and hope that they find what they're looking for that's making them so unhappy that they no longer want to be your friend, because they don't power over you anymore. I know in a couple of my relationships that ended, it's because they're not smaller than me anymore. They're not the ones who say, "Oh, I'm going to wear this size 18. I wish I had something for you to wear, but we'll fix you up so you can look somewhat pretty." I mean, that's the kind of friends I had before. And now that they don't have a power over me, and I still am glad to be their friend, they don't want to be around me or be my friends anymore. That's their choice. I even had a very thin friend decide that she didn't want to be friends with me anymore, and she had all sorts of excuses in the world. So, but that's okay. I'm okay, because I'm okay with God, and I'm okay with my family. So I love you, and I'll talk to you guys all later. Bye.